Billing in TPS can be broken down to 3 simple steps. First, what do I want to bill the client? All of the WIP, some of the WIP, or none of the WIP? Second, what amount do I want to bill the client? And third, what do I want to say on the invoice? Most firms choose to start the billing process by printing off a report that shows the details of the outstanding WIP by client. From that report, the person decides, client by client, who and what they should bill. Most accounting practices bill individually like this, whereas attorneys tend to bill everyone, everything, every month, no exception. This is just one small difference as to why TPS suits professional accounting firms rather than other industries. Let's take a look at a typical report used to help the person doing the billing. Click on either the icon for reports or the report menu. I'm going to use the billing worksheet reports. Here you can see a number of choices, and they're all really simply variations of the same report, just sorted and summarized differently. The primary sort for these reports is by client, but within the client, how do we want the WIP sorted? By date, or by work code, or by employee? We're going to look at the detail by work code by client. What appears first is the client filter, meaning you can choose the default OK to select all clients with unbilled WIP, or you can selectively choose a single, multiple, or a range of clients. Next, we are prompted if we want to see WIP within a certain date range. Normally, firms want to see all unbilled WIP, so click OK to the start and end date to see all dates. And lastly, we're asked if we want a page break after each client. I'll click OK, and up comes a report that has all clients with outstanding unbilled WIP. Normally, we would print and review the report to decide what action we want to take with each client. Once the report is in hand, the 3 steps to the billing process are done as follows. Step 1. What do I want to bill the client? All of the WIP? Then I'd choose Quick Bill. Some of the outstanding WIP and leave some for next month? Then I would choose Detail Bill. Or do I want to bill no WIP at this time, but still need to get an invoice to the client? Then I would choose Progress Bill. This is often used for either monthly retainer bills or on large projects where you want to bill partway through the job, but don't want to take any markup or markdown until the final invoice when the project is complete. I'll do an example of each type of billing and demonstrate how steps 2 and 3 are identical no matter if you Quick Bill, Detail Bill, or Progress Bill. You'll see just how easy billing in TPS is and why we think you should be able to complete any invoice in less than a minute, start to finish. It really is that simple. So let's do a few bills from beginning to end. Billing in TPS is done from the bill icon. Here we can see all clients that have unbilled WIP. By unchecking Show Unbilled Only, I also get to see clients with no unbilled WIP. Notice that the first client with unbilled WIP is A1 Company, just like the report that we saw just a moment ago. In step 1, we're going to decide to bill all of the outstanding WIP for A1 Company, $1,801. So I'm going to highlight the client, right-click, and choose Quick Bill. Now I'm in step 2. How much do we want to bill the client? Do I want to bill the client the exact amount of the WIP? Or will I want to apply a markup or a markdown? In the Quick Bill screen, I can choose how much to bill the client. So let's round this client up to $2,000, creating a $199 markup, which will be proportionally distributed amongst the lines of billed WIP. In Canada and some U.S. states, accounting firms are required to charge a sales tax on their invoice. This amount is automatically calculated in the upper right-hand corner, and for those who do not charge sales tax, this will simply be $0 and you can ignore it. You can check the invoice date, the invoice number, invoice template, and then click OK. Now we are at step 3. What do I want the invoice to say? Every firm is different in what they present to the client. Some firms, they provide a short summary, like for professional services rendered or accounting services for the month of, and some are a bit more detailed with several paragraphs describing the work performed. while yet others may provide an attorney-type bill with an itemized line for each line of WIP billed. TPS can do any of these. So let's look at the two extremes, the short summary invoice and the longer detail attorney-type invoice. We're now in the billing paragraph screen that shows on the top half all the lines of WIP that were billed on this invoice. So you'll notice that the total amount field here shows the $2,000 for this invoice. That means that TPS has taken that markup and prorated it across all these lines of WIP so that they add up to the $2,000. The bottom section is where we enter what paragraphs or wording we want to print out on this invoice. So at the top there are three tabs: time entry and work code descriptions, library of paragraphs, and past invoices. On the time entry and work code description tab, we can use anything from the work code description column or the time entry description column to use as a paragraph on the invoice. Simply highlight the cell and click the Add Paragraph icon, or you can just simply highlight the row and double-click it, and it will add that work code description paragraph as a paragraph below. If you want to combine two phrases into one single paragraph, highlight the cell and use the Copy into Paragraph icon. If you click on the Library of Paragraphs, here we'll see a set of standard phrases or paragraphs that you can build for your own firm. These are just examples that we've created for the demo. To add a paragraph from this section, just either highlight and use the Add Paragraph icon or simply double-click on the row. We can also click on the Past Invoices tab, and here you can use any paragraphs from this client's past invoices on this new invoice. Now normally we would just simply choose OK and then do another bill and then print all of today's invoices at the end using Invoice Batch. But let's preview this one first. So TPS offers about 25 different standard templates created using Microsoft Word. The default for this one is IS9T. So if I click Preview, Microsoft Word gets launched and data from our invoice gets merged onto a new document, and the invoice will come up on screen. So this is an example of just one of our templates. Let's try another one, IS8T, just so you can get a sense of what other templates are available. And mind you, all of these can be modified and customized with whatever you prefer. Now, how would I create one of those attorney-type detail invoices where bits of information from each line of WIP gets merged onto the invoice? I'm first going to choose ID1T. This is a template that we have developed that will merge in information from each of the lines of WIP that were billed. So I'm going to get rid of my paragraphs just to prove to you that no paragraphs that are being merged in that I've assigned. It's all coming from the lines of WIP that have been billed. So I'll click Preview, and the template will automatically bring in information from each of these 9 lines of WIP. Now here's our detailed invoice, and you can see that it brings in the date, the employee code. You can bring in the work code name, work code description, time entry description, number of hours, and the amount from each line of WIP billed. Now that would be pretty hard to do manually, so this can be quite a time saver if you like these detail type invoices. So those are some of our choices, and certainly keep in mind that they are starting points and you can modify and create your own template to suit your taste. So we've done our first bill, and it took a little while, so let's go through one more bill just so I can show you how quick it can be. So let's do a quick bill for Barnett, Williams & Eck. They have $608 worth of unbilled WIP. I want to bill it all, so I'm going to right-click, choose Quick Bill. I'm going to mark it up to $650. I can check my tax, my invoice date, invoice number, invoice template. I click OK. Client's been billed, so now I have to choose what paragraphs I want to add. So I'll add 2. This time, maybe I'll itemize my paragraphs. I'll say $350 for that work and $300 for that. I'll go ahead and I'll click Preview, and up comes my invoice. So you can see It really can take less than a minute, maybe even less than 30 seconds from start to finish in order to generate an invoice in TPS. So now let's go and look and see how we can do an invoice where we pick and choose what lines of WIP to bill. So I'm going to choose computer lease, and I'm going to right click, and this time I'm choosing detail bill. You'll notice that in the detail bill screen we can see all the lines of WIP for this client that are not yet billed. We can select all of them, some of them, and what might make it easier in selecting is putting the WIP in date order or maybe even work code order, because maybe I want to bill certain types of work. I'm going to select my bookkeeping work codes, so I'm just double clicking on each of the lines that I want to bill, and you'll notice there's a little X here that's showing that I've selected them. So I've got those, and I'm going to also pick these 700 level work codes. Notice that as I was checking these off, at the bottom it's telling me how much was checked, $821 and 8 hours worth of time. Although I've selected these lines, I haven't told the program how much I want to bill them at. So I need to right click and choose either Final Bill to bill it at the $821 or Final Bill At to mark it up or mark it down. So I'll choose Final Bill At, and I'm going to bill it at $800 for a $21 markdown. I'll click OK, and now these lines are no longer selected, but there are little asterisks in the bill column. So this is visually showing me what lines of WIP I've actually billed. Also, down at the bottom, the amount checked has been changed to $0, and the amount billed is $800 with the markdown of $21. And remember, that markdown has been proportionally distributed amongst the billed lines of WIP. So if everything is good, I can go ahead and click OK. It's going to check my tax. I click OK to that, and now we're back at a very familiar screen, the billing paragraphs, where I get to pick what wording I want to print on my invoice. This time I'm going to go to the Past Invoices tab, and I'm going to select an old invoice A2853, and I'm going to add the paragraphs from that invoice. And you can see it added both paragraphs from that particular invoice. I can go ahead and click Preview. It's going to load Microsoft Word, create the Word document invoice, and I can preview it on screen. Now, I can either print it here, or I could also have just clicked OK to the billing paragraph screen and printed this invoice off later, through our invoice batch utility. We've now gone over how to bill all the WIP on a client and how to bill some of the WIP on a client, but what if we want to invoice a client but not bill any WIP? That's called a progress bill. When I choose to progress bill a client, it means that I want to invoice the client, but I don't want to relieve any WIP yet, either because we haven't started the project and there is no WIP, like a retainer, or I'm not done with a large project yet and I don't want to take a markup or markdown on the current WIP until we're completely done with the project. Let's say that Golder Associates is a client I'm about to do a big project for, and I'd like to bill them $500 up front. They have no unbilled WIP because we haven't started working on the project yet. So I will have to right-click and choose Progress Bill. I'll progress bill them at $500. I'll click OK. I will add my paragraph and click OK, and I'm done. But what's happened to Golder? They now have a negative $500 unbilled WIP and a $500 invoice. If I look at their inquiry on the WIP tab, there's the negative line of progress WIP that was created by the progress bill. It will sit on the client's account until you enter real WIP and then final bill it all. We do this so that when you create the final invoice to the client, you'll be able to see the true markup or markdown on the project as a whole. While you can preview and print individual invoices during the billing process, normally it's more efficient to print all the invoices at once as a final step. So if you go to Tools, Invoice Batch, this is a utility that will allow you to print off a batch of invoices, usually for a given date range. So for more detailed instructions on how to use this tool, please see our video on invoice batch, or if you prefer to email your invoices to your clients as a PDF attachment, watch the Email Invoices, Statement, and Letters video. There's one more billing option in TPS called automatic bills, or a fixed fee monthly quarterly billing. Automatic bills works the same way as progress bills. It creates the invoice without relieving any lines of WIP, and the negative progress WIP will sit on the client's account until you enter real WIP and then final bill it all. In the client properties, on the Billing tab, Automatic Billing sub-tab, you can set up a recurring invoice by selecting a template, entering in an amount, adding paragraphs, and then determining if it's a monthly or quarterly invoice. Once we've set the automatic billing in the client properties, let's go to Tools, Automatic Billing. I'm going to choose monthly automatic bills, and when I hit Generate, it shows me my clients with monthly auto bills set up. The Exist column is telling me that I have not already created this monthly bill for the current period. To go ahead and create these invoices on the client's account, I would simply click OK. I would then need to go to Tools, Invoice Batch to print out the batch of invoices just generated. As you can see, billing in TPS is easy and straightforward, yet provides lots of flexibility. Just remember the 3 basic steps. What do I want to bill of the outstanding WIP? All, some, or none? How much do I want to bill the WIP at? And finally, what do I want to say on the invoice? Billing in TPS, it really is that simple.